Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the 30s Diary. Right now, I am not at home. I am in the Philippines, specifically in Boracay, which is a beautiful, I guess it's called like a province or a town in the Philippines. It's known for its beautiful white beaches and white sand beaches, as you can see right over here. It's white, very fine textured sand and the most clearest waters I've ever seen. And it's so beautiful. And today I kind of want to talk about reconnecting back to your culture and who you really are, and your inner child, your inner self, and how that I feel like that's a really important thing that a lot of people in their 30s experience. And I feel like I've experienced a lot in the past year, I would say. Not so much when I turned 30 years old, but I feel like in the past year, I've been really reflecting on life, and I think this would be the perfect place to talk about that because we're in Boracay. I'm in the Philippines. I am Filipina, um, and I love my culture. So I kind of want to talk a little bit more about that and where I came from, my family, how I'm reconnecting back to that. And if you guys have experienced this too, because um, I think that connecting to your roots is really important. It's not our whole identity, but it does kind of shape who we are in a lot of ways, like where we came from, where our ancestors came from, our culture, our life experiences, all of that. And I think it's really beautiful. And being here in the Philippines as well, I'm reconnecting with like my identity as a Filipina, and realizing how beautiful it is to be in America because there's so many different cultures, and there's so many different types of foods, different kinds of people, and we're all used to that, especially in California. And here in the Philippines, most people are Filipino, and that's so beautiful too, right? Obviously, I'm in the Philippines, but it's just interesting with the different cultures of everything. So, yeah, I guess I'll do a little brief recap of my time here in the Philippines before we get started with this episode. But right now, I'm here for a wedding. I've been here for 9 days. I'm going home tomorrow, and I'm so sad I can't be with my husband this time around, but we'll come back. We'll come back here. But I basically went here for a wedding, and I also went here to it's kind of like a family reunion with my family that's in the Philippines and Australia, and my parents haven't seen them in so long, so it was nice seeing them again. And I also got to see my grandma's sister, the only sister left in the family of my grandparents' siblings. So that's been so nice, and it was nice seeing her because she looks just like my grandma, and it just reminds me of her. And I miss my grandma so much, so much. She passed 5 years ago, but every day, like, I just miss her so much. I miss my grandparents. It was nice seeing her. It was nice seeing the family again. And yeah, and then I went to my cousin's wedding as well. She's from Australia, but she decided to get married in Shangri La, the Hotel Shangri La in Boracay. And it's such a beautiful property, guys. If you ever go to Boracay, I suggest Shangri La. It's just such a beautiful property, like probably the most beautiful place I've ever stayed at in my life. I'm so incredibly grateful because, I mean, I'm just so grateful to experience this. The beaches, the service here, the beautiful architecture of the property is just absolutely amazing, breathtaking, and I'm just incredibly grateful. Like, and I'll never stop being grateful for these experiences that I have. But yeah, so I was here for that, and we did so many fun things. And I'm gonna have a whole series on my time here in the Philippines. I haven't had much time to edit videos because I've basically been with family every single day, and Filipino families talk a lot. They're very loud, so I can't even do voiceovers because it's just been really loud. So look forward to those videos, and they're all going to be connected to the theme of being in my 30s, and life experiences, life reflections, what I've learned, and just the whole journey of this new decade in life. So, all right, let's get started with the episode. So today's all about reconnecting with who you really are in your 30s. And I know that in your 20s, sometimes We feel like we are trying to figure out the next steps of life, and we are trying to figure out what our, just our life path, what we are doing with our life, who our real friends are, who we want to be, um, what we believe in. Our minds are changing, our views are changing. We're trying to figure out what our next steps in our career is going to be. Maybe we're finishing school. Who knows what we're doing in our 20s? But I feel like because it's just such a pivotal decade of growth, sometimes we kind of lose ourselves in the chaos of life because we're just trying to figure out the next steps. And it can be a pretty chaotic time, I must say. But I feel like in your 30s is when you've lived more life, you've learned lessons, you are figuring out who you really are. And that's why I really enjoy my 30s because it's definitely different. It's not as chaotic, it's more of a peaceful decade, at least for me. And because there's more peace in my mind and there's more peace in my heart, I feel like I can really figure out who I really want to be or who I am, who I was meant to be. And that is beautiful. And I think also being here in the Philippines, being Filipino, there's so many beautiful values that a lot of us grow up with, like family, love, respect, and even getting through issues together in a community, like community based relationships. I really love in the Philippines, I've realized like how everyone is just, it feels like everyone's family. Like I see my mom joking with everyone. I see her, um, they're all just laughing, having a good time. It's so easy to make friends um, in the Philippines. And I see that as well, like with my parents and their friend groups back then, like when they were in high school and college, they make friends for a lifetime. And that's so beautiful. I feel like friendships really last in the Philippines, or if you're Filipino, you grew up in the Philippines because it's very community based. And, relationships, no matter if they're friendships or romantic relationships, they're not perfect. So I think that in the Philippines, a lot of relationships, maybe they go through ups and downs, like, problems or a lot of arguments, maybe. But I feel like Filipinos know how to handle conflict and talk through it. Well, at least that's my like viewpoint. I'm not sure if that's everyone's perspective, but I feel like because they're so community oriented, it's like the closer you get to someone, the closer you're probably going to, go have issues or have disagreements. But that's okay. Like, as long as you get through those disagreements or problems and your relationship gets stronger. And yeah, I think that's really beautiful because I feel like in a lot of American relationships or communities, I feel like people don't get too close because they don't want to get into arguments or disagreements. But I feel like friendships get stronger once you really get through those tough moments in a relationship. And that kind of reminded me of like how I should really, um, I feel like I should be more, what's it called? Like, in order for me to get closer to the people in my life, I need to open up more and realize that it's okay if, you make someone mad or you might hurt someone unintentionally because no one's perfect in this life. But I feel like um, I should just learn how to communicate better and um, not be scared of hard conversations. That's something that I'm constantly learning in my 30s is to not be scared of hard confrontations, and because that's what makes relationships stronger. And I see that with my family. Like I see all my family fight sometimes, but at the end of the day they get through it. And honestly, I love my family dynamic. I love the way that they are close and they all joke around, and it's a good time even though, you know, not every conversation is perfect. People are going to get upset sometimes, but that's okay because that's what makes a relationship even stronger. So, I'm learning a lot about how to build more community in this decade of my life because it is really important. I used to have a large community in my 20s, just growing up being in school, being with my family and their friends, and I realized that I really want to have a bigger community of people in my life. I think it's more beautiful. I think it makes life a lot richer, and I think that honestly is a part of me. I mean, I am Filipina. It's a part of my nature, I guess, to be with a lot of people and to have a really strong, good community around me. And I think I'm still seeking that right now. I have some good friends, but I don't know. I want to branch out and make more friends and build more community and have a community that's super inspiring, um, super creative, kind, loving, all of that. So that is one thing that I'm trying to reconnect back with. Okay, so another way that I'm reconnecting back with myself and how you guys can think about ways to reconnect is to think about the things that you loved as a child and what was your natural personality like? Because for me, I've always loved singing and dancing and being creative. And I feel like I want to get back into that because ever since doing YouTube is very creative for me. And I think, with this pivot of the channel, I am starting to gain back my creativity, which is what I realize I should be doing in my 30s is like to really do things that I love. Like, I want to create this channel and have content that I'm really passionate about. And I think that I want to incorporate those types of moments into all aspects of my life too. Because I feel like for the longest time I haven't really been doing a lot of the things that I love. And I just want to get back to the very passionate, very ambitious part of me that I had in my 20s. Not saying I'm not ambitious now, like I feel like I still am and I have a lot of dreams and goals, but like I guess I want to step it up again because I think I was just in a phase of figuring out my next steps of life that I was kind of like ignoring this part of me, honestly, that I used to have like when I was in my mid 20s and everything like that. But I want to get back to that. And of course, I'm a different person now. Of course, I've changed a lot in the last 10 years. And I think it's great. You need to change, right? When you change, that means that you're growing, you are getting new perspectives of life, you are learning more, you're gaining more wisdom. Like it's great to grow. So I'm not saying to like go back in time and be your old version of yourself. Like we're always going to be a new version of ourselves, which is a lot better. But again, like there are parts of us that we neglect that we have to get back to. Our silly selves, our fun loving selves, our creative selves, ourselves that will say yes to new opportunities and spontaneity and making new friendships, all of that. I think I want to get back into that as well. And I think, in a way, getting back to those parts of me that I love and lost a little bit is a way of self care, a way to heal yourself too, and to show love to yourself. So I think that's so beautiful. I want to get back to those parts of me. And, I've definitely grown in a lot of different ways. And sometimes I feel like because I'm getting older, I can't be as silly as I used to be or whatever. But honestly, that's just a big part of me. And it's funny because at home, I am my silliest self with my husband. Like, we're always laughing. It's a good time. And I wish that I could really show more of that to the world as well, especially on this channel. Like, I want to be more myself, I think. And I don't know why that's always been kind of hard for me to do in public with a lot of people, but I want to be more myself. And I definitely I'm I'm a weird, crazy girl, I will say. But it's just kind of hard to show that a lot to the world. But everyone that really knows me, like my family, my friends, they know that like I'm probably one of the craziest people in their life. Like fun, silly, crazy, all of that in a good way. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think that'll be so much fun to really try to not be so reserved and so shy within myself, even though that is a part of me too, because I feel like my whole life I've been kind of reserved and shy at times. But once you get to know me, like I love people too as well. Like I love talking to people. I love making new friends. It's just kind of hard for me sometimes to open up very easily. But that's another thing that I want to reconnect back to. Just being here in the Philippines too, like it's honestly a dream come true. Like I love my culture so much. Like being around so many Filipinos has made me appreciate where I came from, my family came from, and I'm just feeling incredibly grateful because I want to continue to travel the world with my husband, and I I do want to I want a lifestyle with a lot of freedom where I can keep on traveling and experiencing new cultures and sure. Oh, thank you. See guys, I got a cold towel. People here are so amazing here at the Shangri-La. Oh, man, that feels so good, guys, because it is pretty hot here. Oh my goodness. Ooh, and it smells like lavender too. Okay, that feels so good. Oh my goodness. I think that I want to continue just exploring new cultures, being around different kinds of people. And I think my husband wants to live that kind of lifestyle too. Like keep on traveling, meeting new people. I feel like once you travel the world, like I mean you don't have to travel to like get to know different kinds of people. Like you can meet people even in your own town, right? But I feel like traveling really opens your eyes to like new perspective, new perspectives on life and beliefs and different ways of living, different kinds of people. It is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And I've always loved traveling, and I'm so happy that I'm doing a lot of this in my 30s as well. So, yeah, I guess, being Filipino is really a beautiful thing. Of course, no culture is perfect because no one's perfect. And we all have our, I mean, we all have our toxic sides, I guess you can say, but I'm just really grateful. Like, I've noticed the most beautiful things while being on this trip because I haven't been back in the Philippines in like 11 or 12 years, and I was in my early 20s last time, and this is a whole new experience for me as well. And I'm also feeling grateful that my parents got to, they got to make a life for themselves in America. Like incredibly, incredibly grateful for that. And um, it's nice being with my family here as well, and just seeing different ways of living, and that we're all the same. We're all here on Earth. We're all human. We all have similar feelings, experiences, emotions, and I'm just yeah, I was actually quite emotional when I came because it's just been so long and like I feel, like I just feel so happy when I'm around. I'm just feel so happy to be back in the Philippines because it's been so long and um it's a different feeling. I don't experience this type of hospitality and friendliness and love. Love, oh my gosh. This type of love I have not experienced in like any other country, honestly. Um, so it's beautiful, and I can see why so many people love going to the Philippines and meeting Filipinos. And um, yeah, it's definitely a blessing. And wow, it's so beautiful here. And not just being in a resort, but I think that even being in the city and being in Manila, being with a lot of people, like I love. I love all parts of the Philippines too. And, I don't, this is my first time actually experiencing like this side of the Philippines because I've never been in a resort in the Philippines before. Usually I'm with my grandparents or my uncle, and I live more of like the local experience of the Philippines. But I like this too. I like all aspects of it. It's amazing. And um it makes me want to also like reconnect with more Filipino friends back at home too because I honestly like at this point I don't have too many right now and I would love to make more friends. Yeah, I think that's honestly the main topic of this podcast is just making more friends and community because that's so important, especially when you get older and you want to have more connections and more relationships and more love and all of that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I this was kind of like a rambling episode. I'm not really sure. Uh, I didn't really prepare anything for this episode, but I just wanted to show you this beautiful beach behind me and that I've been here for 9 days, and I am also very excited to come back home too because um, I want to be back with my family, with my husband, with my kitties. So, anyway, guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching the 30s Diary podcast, and hopefully, I can get this on Spotify soon. It's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks, but anyway, I love you, and I'll see you soon. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. It's Jackie.em, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you later. Bye.